And I sent him like a picture of me having a whiskey in the bath, like covering the right places. And I was like, don't do it. And he was like, oh my God.
I love this origin story.
You ran out of the friend zone.
Welcome back to another episode of Girls Gotta Eat.
Welcome back. What were you going to say? I thought you had something to say.
No, after the break, I have something to say for you. Like after we thank our partners, I have something funny to say to you later. I wonder if you'll even think it's funny.
You know what? It's been a minute since we did a weather review. So let's just see. So right now it is 45 and sunny, but on the day that this is supposed to come out on Monday in New York, we says we have a low of 33 and a high of 55. The sun should be out. Fuck it all.
Ashley and I are moving. We're getting out of here. We'll see. We'll let you guys know.
No, I mean, I think we've been saying this too much and like shitting all over New York. And, listen, we might just be living a little bit more
bi-coastally.
All over all coast.
I don't listen. I'm the president of the I'm never leaving New York fan club. I've been here 14 years. No one stands New York more than I do. I've lived through a lot of disgusting apartments to live here. I love New York.
We love New York.
I'm getting old, guys, and I need to be in the sun like old Jewish people that migrate to Boca.
There's too much garbage here, the men and on the streets physically. I can't stress it enough.
I can't step in another pile of human shit.
I know. But I do when I think about leaving, I like get really in my feels. Like I'll walk around and listen to music and think about leaving and like what I would say in like a post. And I'm just like, I mean, it's the best thing I've ever done is move here and I just can't stress enough. But like, I'm ready for a different kind of life.
Yeah, I'm ready for that beach life.
I guess this is an aging thing of you just want to be warm. Like I used to love the cold. You know me. I would be on these streets like, love this city. It's 2 degrees.
You know what I mean? For the abuse. I was built for it.
But I liked it. I like dark and cold. And like, I just genuinely have changed. I think my body has changed. I think I'm way better in the heat than I used to be. Like remember that one time we were in Miami, you were like, I'm sweating. I'm like, I feel great. Like we were at Carbone. Like I think my body is acclimating to want more warm weather, like an old person. Because I used to be like, I want 4 seasons, I want cold, and I just don't feel like that anymore.
I told my dad, we're going to get into this in a second. I told my dad that you and I were thinking about getting a place in Miami because he was like, I can't be in Pittsburgh in the winters, it's too cold. And I was like, Ashley and I are actually, moving down to Miami part-time, I think. We'll see. We're getting my dad goes, I feel like it'll be just like too much if I like live with you girls. And I was like, Dad, I didn't know part of me meant
part of the deal.
No, but I meant you go to Boca. Ashley and I will be like an hour away sometimes.
You get 2 to 3 visits a year and there gotta be on off days.
We got that you and I were volunteering to get him a place to live with us.
That is so cute, Bill. But if you're listening, that's
no.
No.
You buy us a place. That's not how this works.
Okay, guys, this episode is brought to you by BetterHelp Therapy Online. Discover your potential with BetterHelp. Therapy can help. Visit betterhelp.com/GGE today to get 10% off your first month. So getting to know yourself can be a lifelong process, especially because we're always growing and changing. And therapy is all about deepening that self-awareness and understanding because sometimes you don't know what you want or why you react the way you do until you talk your way through it. BetterHelp connects you with licensed therapists who can take you on a journey of self-discovery from wherever you are. And whatever it is that you want to address in your life, this can always help. So if you think I'm really stressed out and I want to address that, if I want to feel more confident, if I have issues in my relationship, my job, my friendships, if you want to work on emotional healing, anxiety, depression, so many different things they can help talk you through. And if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online and designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. You'll just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Discover your potential at BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/GGE today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/GGE.
All right. Well, we've had a great week. We launched new merch last week. Thank you guys so much for all of the orders. You guys stormed the store.
Oh my God, she said it. How did you not say it until now?
Somebody DM'd me and she said, you haven't said litmus test or stormed the internet in a week and I miss you.
Yeah, but litmus test was old school. Like you used to say that in like 2018, 2019.
When I know a lot of words.
But storm the store, storm the tickets. Like you've stayed with that. But litmus test, you took a few years off.
I retired it. It's back now.
Yeah, you brought it out. You brought it up from the minor leagues.
But I'm so proud of what we launched. We have really, really cute designs for Girls Gotta Eat. We have I Literally Don't Care. We have Fuck Around and Find Out. We have bags that are so cute. We just ordered some joggers to sample to see for the next drop. But lots of hats, lots of really cool stuff. You guys just went crazy for it. So thank you. We love you guys. The return policy on this, we just want to let you guys know all sales are final. We're a small business. So once items go into fulfillment, we can't cancel orders unless something is defective or you get the wrong item. So that's the return policy. Read it on the website, girlsgottaeatpodcast.shop.
Okay, and you guys, you stormed the Toronto tickets. That's for sure. They went so quick. I'm sure there's still a few left, so check on that. And then of course we still have some tickets left to Kansas City and Detroit. Those are the ones I'm really pushing because I know we have like plenty left, and those shows are going to be big and fun and amazing. I think Pittsburgh is sold out. Maybe a few tickets will be released, and then we have tickets left for Indianapolis, Portland late show, and St. Louis, and that's it.
Yeah. Pittsburgh's not completely sold out. So still try to buy those tickets.
No, it's
when you go there, it says it's sold out.
I don't know what's going on,
Guys,
but
just get
it's
in there.
close.
Take a look.
It's been on sale forever. I don't care if you didn't get tickets. That's on you. But just check. Yeah, see what's available.
Yes, a couple people messaged us and asked about the Vancouver show. It's sold out, and yeah, it's happening. Absolutely. So we'll see you guys at the end of the month. We're doing shoe shows in Portland, the next night Seattle, the next night Vancouver. All those shows are a go. Absolutely. And if you're coming to any show, always email us these crazy stories about people you're coming with. Roast your friends. Tell us what single guys are in the audience, and send that to stories@girlsgottaeatpodcast.com, and in the subject line, the city that you are coming from.
We have such a good episode today. We have Kaitlyn Bristowe. First time on our show. We've been on her show before. We went on her show again. We have her today, and we're talking about all kinds of fun stuff. So you guys get ready for that. But I wanted to just say something, not to bring the mood down, but just something that we both wanted to address is the war in Ukraine. And while we haven't discussed this yet on the show, it is something that is constantly on our mind, and we talk about all the time. We post on social media. It's just conversations that we're always having. I think a lot of us are with our friends and family and everything else. And, we just want to say what's happening is horrifying. And that goes without saying. People have lost their lives. They've had to flee their homes. And if you stay abreast of the news, you know all this. We're not a news podcast. We want to be able to be an escape from the terrible things happening in the world. But obviously we want our audience to know that we stand with the people of Ukraine, and this is on our minds constantly. We received an email from a listener that I thought would be impactful to read some excerpts from. She says, I have been a loyal snackhead for the past 3.5 years. I look forward to your episodes every week and recommend them to all my girlfriends. As I am writing this, my fiance's family is hiding in bomb shelters and my friends' cities are being destroyed. You have a huge listening, and I myself, Russian, and have 4 other girlfriends, Russian and Ukrainian, who listen to you and are coming to your Seattle show. So we can't wait to see them there. I really hope that you can take a minute or two of your time and show some support to Ukraine and your Slavic listeners. I personally feel unsupported living in the U.S. as Americans seem numb to wars outside of their country, and they're kind of quote unquote used to it. I myself was never affected with any wars before, but right now 95% of my circle is suffering, and we are affected in one way or another. So I ask you to please say a word for us. We Russians in the U.S. and across the world do not support Putin's regime and feel threatened for our safety. It's an important emphasis that needs to be placed that Russia does not equal Putin. So please keep this in mind if you do decide to say something to support Ukraine, as the mentions of Russians attacking Ukraine hurts those Russians who never wanted it and are in pain. So those are her words. I just wanted to read those. Of course, again, people of Ukraine, we feel for you. We stand with you. I feel like there's not words. There's not a lot of words that can do it justice. They just don't feel impactful enough. But I want to thank her to writing to us and anyone else who has. I mean, in terms of actionable things, I think just making sure to rely on trustworthy information, be wary of falling for and spreading misinformation. There's so much out there with this. The Washington Post just published an article on this. There are other credible sources that have tips and tools on verifying information and consuming news. We know you guys are great and you're smart and you get it. I just wanted to say that. I always plug Jessica Yellen on Instagram. I feel like I'm tagging her constantly. I tag her way too much. Her platform is called News Not Noise. She is a wonderful go-to for balanced, digestible news and resources. Jessica Yellin is the Instagram handle. And of course, donate if you're able. I personally have donated to CARE International for years. I donate monthly to International Rescue Committee. They just take it out of my account. Voice of Children Foundation is a good place to donate. Global Empowerment Mission. Also the Polish Red Cross, as so many Ukrainians have fled to Poland. We can post this on our story this week too. And if you're wondering, about credibility, charitynavigator.org is a good place to look for credibility ratings and just cross-referencing places to donate with credible sources. You guys are smart, you get it. But of course, just wanted to encourage you to donate if you're able and stay abreast of everything that's going on as much as you can digest. And ultimately, we just wanted to address this and express our feelings and show our support.
Thanks, Ash. You know, obviously everything that Ashley said, I co-sign. And anybody that's struggling or in pain or scared, we stand with you and our hearts are with you and you're on our minds.
Yeah. Okay, really weird to go from like war to blowjobs or whatever we're about to talk about. But anyway, that's what we do on the show.
Do you have a good segue? What are you segueing to next?
Let's see.
I said to Ashley, not a lot happened to me this week. So I'll tell you this thing that I did last night.
Okay.
So I went to see Batman last night with Jeremy and it's the new Batman movie. And I accidentally bought 4DX tickets, which was a whole thing. 4DX is like a ride, essentially. Every seat is like isolated and it rocks you back and forth
insane.
like a ride. You get like hit in the back. There's steam and water.
You keep saying hit in the back. Like really? Like it just
like a massage chair that just like punches you in the back. So there's like a car seat. There's like a car chase scene and you're like in the car essentially. I mean, the whole seat is.
Are you strapped
flying back and forth? No. And the beers that we had did not have tops on them and the beers exploded. They just went and we had big gulps of beer and they exploded all over each other. So listen, I think it's a fun thing to try wines. It's not my preferred way to view a movie. Like I think it's a beautiful movie. It's an incredibly shot, beautiful 3-hour movie. It's a lot to deal with. Jeremy was like, how did you not know? And I was like, I don't know. Cause normally they give you a warning if you buy 4DX tickets. They're like, if you're prone to seizures, if you have epilepsy, Jeremy was like, if you were over 40, you cannot go to one of these movies. He was holding on to the seats like such a little baby.
Wait, what? I am dying to go to one of these.
It's really fun. You do it for action movies. I did it for Black Widow. It was fun for Marvel movies. I don't know where they all are, but the Union Square Regal Theater is a big one for it.
Union Square Regal. Okay, got it. I'm dying to go to one of these. The first time you told me about it, I was like, what is this? Because I love rides.
Yes, it's like a ride. The steam comes, you get hit in the face with water. I turned off Jeremy's water and I shouldn't have. I should have let him get hit in the face.
Turn your water on or off.
Yes. And there's a couple scenes where it's raining in the movie and you're getting rained on from the ceiling. Little droplets, but like it's noticeable. It's pretty crazy.
Oh my God. Did you know that like as a kid, all I cared about was amusement parks and rides and everything, like obsessed. Like even my 16th birthday, 16, we went to King's Dominion.
We have never been to an amusement park
18.
together.
I lied. 18. I lied. I was like, I want to go to King's Dominion. Like I was obsessed with roller coasters and rides and Disney and everything, Disney World. Like as a kid, that's all I cared about. I would have dreams that like the golf course, like near my house turned into an amusement park and I wake up, I would feel so sad. Like no one was more obsessed with like roller coasters and rides and amusement parks than me. Like I was going to them well into my 20s.
Okay. You think I'm going to laugh at you. I don't think it's weird. I think
I'm not like a Disney adult. I think
rides are fun. I think amusement parks are fun. I don't know if you know this. I can't ride a roller coaster. I won't.
You're not
do
tall
it.
enough.
Probably, but that's what I'm going to start telling me. I have that. My brother can't do it. My mom gets like that inner ear thing that like I can't deal with the drop. I hate it. I can go really fast. I can spin. Those rides where you spin are fine. The drop, I can't handle it. And it was my nightmare growing up that my friends would have like birthday parties at these like amusement parks. And I just like had to make up an excuse to not go. It was so embarrassing. It embarrasses me to this day.
Oh my gosh.
So I love amusement parks. I love the energy. I love the food.
Yeah.
I think it's really fun. I can't get on roller coasters. I know I'm a little bitch.
This is making me want to go now. Like I want to go on a date with like a guy, like I just as an adult and like him, like grab onto him. Also, I love a haunted house. Oof. Tower of Terror at Disney World. I went it 3 times in a row. My mom was like, you got to stop. We can't go on it again, Ashley. She was like, she has to stop. She can't be stopped.
Ashley's gonna Ashley.
I left Tower of Terror. I was like, got right back in line.
That is so crazy. You just like being in terror.
Well, that's the drop. It goes straight down.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
Your stomach just flies up into your throat.
I would rather die. I like those rides that spin so fast you stick to the walls.
Like the Gravitron.
Yeah, I love those. Those don't bother me
one
at
on the
all.
Rehoboth Beach Boardwalk. We'll go this summer.
Thank God. We'll go next week.
And they have a haunted house in there too. It's like so old school and like low budget. Mm-hmm. But the haunted house is lit. You got to do Gravitron, haunted house, bumper cars. Love at a bumper car.
Get involved with some bumper cars and some haunted houses. I feel like I haven't done that in so many years.
I worry that I'm just too old and like I'm gonna get whiplash. But you like the way that you are with the stripper, like you'll have no problems. Like the way your neck bounces around, like you're gonna be a bumper car queen.
Well, the point with the stripper is I like to time my alcohol so I'm just like pretty buzzed when they come out, so that when they're whipping my body around, I'll time to think about what's about to happen. And then I'm good. I do get whiplash a little bit. had to get a couple massages following it.
Well, you love to get a massage. Okay, guys, we'll go see Batman, and maybe you might need a massage afterwards. But I have a couple recs too I wanted to share. I watched Pam and Tommy.
Oh yeah, you told me I have to watch
which
it.
is on Hulu.
Okay.
I like it. Seth Rogen is in it. He plays the character that like releases the sex tape. So it's really kind of all centered around the sex tape, which
they're married at the time of the.
No, it opens with them being married and fucking, and then it goes back to them meeting. The sex tape is an interesting angle, especially from like a woman's standpoint, how she was treated throughout the whole thing. Also, it was in the 90s, a lot of 90s nostalgia in the movie, which I love, obviously the music and the fashion and everything, but he seems like a total asshole, rock star type, but she just, I think, was this really like sweet woman. She was from Canada. Like, I didn't know how she got discovered. I mean, I'm assuming most of it is all based on truths. I don't know how they feel about it, like Pam and Tommy, but it's a dramatization of like the actors are playing them and stuff. I think they make them look really good. I think
that the casting and the makeup for the roles are so phenomenal. It's insane.
Yeah. So I liked it. It didn't blow my mind. It's not the best thing I've ever seen, but I like it. So I do recommend it.
Speaking of Hulu Recs and stuff that doesn't release the whole show at once, The Dropout is out on Hulu. You guys know I'm obsessed with Elizabeth Holmes. I'm obsessed with Bad Blood and Theranos. It's one of my favorite books of all time. Love financial crimes and Silicon Valley. I didn't say silicone. Aren't you so proud of me?
Nailed it.
So The Dropout, it stars Amanda Seyfried. It is a dramatization of the Theranos and Elizabeth Holmes, basically drama unfolding. I think it's phenomenal. I watched the first 3 episodes. It's exactly what I wanted Anna Delvey to be. Like Anna Delvey on Netflix, I felt it was a complete reimagination of the facts.
Right.
I don't want to see like a character that was written about and a reimagination of it. I'd like to just see a dramatization of what like actually happened, or I'd rather watch the documentary or read the book. The Anna Delvey thing was just like a terrible accent hammered with like a story that like didn't really happen.
Yeah.
So anyways, it's what I wanted Anna Delvey to be. Okay. I think it's really phenomenal and gripping. 3 episodes are out. There might be more now. And that is on Hulu as well, guys. Check it out.
Also, guys, there was a Love is Blind reunion. I mean, we're kind of out of it now, but of course you guys probably watched it. Shake was just like the fucking worst. I feel like he was trying to be a villain, but he couldn't pull it off. And everything that came out of his mouth was awful and we hated it. And like everybody had a nose ring. Did you notice? Everybody had a nose ring.
I did not think that's how you were going to end that speech.
Everybody had I wrote 2 notes. I was like, Shake, nose ring. Everyone had a nose ring. Kyle, you don't need a nose ring. Also, like, you're doing construction. Is that even safe?
What did Vanessa say? I hope he supports me if I'm dismangled. And she kept doubling down. It's the sentiment really was there. No, she was popping off so hard and she just kept using the word wrong.
She said dismangled 3 times.
She like hit it so hard. She was so mad. What do you think was like Nick was thinking that whole time? Baby, stop.
Nick, he doesn't care compared to Jessica. He's like, she's a genius. I'm kidding. We love Jessica Simpson. And I think she's very smart.
Okay, guys, March is National Nutrition Month, and HelloFresh makes it easy to choose delicious and nutritious meals. We want to thank HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit for supporting Girls Gotta Eat. Go to HelloFresh.com/GGE60 and use the code GGE60 for 60% off plus free shipping. I mean, Ashley and I say it all the time. Anything that you make at home for yourself is going to be better for you, more nutritionally valuable than anything you pick up at a store or a restaurant. And also, it's just more fun. I love cooking HelloFresh meals. It's so fresh, it's pre-portioned, the recipes are simple and easy to follow with the ingredient lists. Everything is really customizable, so if you want to select meals and then swap out the proteins or sides or add a protein to a veggie dish, you can do that. There's up to 40 weekly recipes to choose from. There's everything you could want if you want stuff that's good for kids, vegetarians, date night, if you just want to learn how to cook for yourself, all those things. Really great. Everything I've ever had at HelloFresh is really fantastic. I'm just looking at what they have right now. They have creamy Dijon dill chicken, soy glazed salmon with rice. They have this mushroom and chive risotto. All these things sound amazing. They have lunches for you. Also, Ashley made me this incredible pesto mozzarella and tomato sandwich for lunch. It was unbelievable. And everything online is really easy to customize as well if you need to skip a week or change your address. I just love it. It's really fun and it's really nutritionally valuable. So right now we're going to give you guys a discount. You can go to HelloFresh.com/GGE60 and use the code GGE60 for 60% off plus free shipping.
Okay, soft launches.
Okay, so you started talking to me about this because there was this hysterical video
Yeah,
you sent me.
There's a video on I think it was on Betches. It was probably other places too, that someone made that was like soft launching your boyfriend, or maybe not even your boyfriend, the person that you're dating, and it's like telling them to get their arm in a photo, but not, there's so many different ways to do it. And we'll go through some of the ways you guys do it. But if you're confused on what this is, it basically is, I love the term, I think it's fucking hysterical, is like posting someone very lightly on social media.
It's letting people know you're getting some dick without having to like show their whole face.
And not like a full reveal, and I think anything goes. Hard launch everyone you date. I do not care. Like, no one should be shaming people for dating a lot or having a lot of boyfriends or posting someone too soon. Like, this is a whole you do you situation. Hopefully you're just aligned with the person and you're not like putting them on blast when they don't want to be. But no judgment surrounding it. I think we all have our own ways of like how we deal with like dating and social media. It's been a minute since I've had a serious partner that I was like, we're boyfriend, girlfriend, but I posted the guy little Frankie's guy that ghosted me. I did a soft launch photo that night. I said it was his arm was in it. It was clear it was a man's arm. He was like holding his wine glass. And I think I said like, it's the 2 a.m. date for me or something like that. Like, I like people to know I'm on these streets dating. Like, I have a dating podcast. I date. I want people to know, like, I like think people like it. They like some mystery. Like, I didn't even know that guy's fucking Instagram. I didn't tag him, but like, I think that kind of stuff is fun and I support it and I love it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this whole podcast theme is like, do what feels good. If you're having fun and like you're on a date, you want to let people know you're on a date. Like, why not post it? I've certainly done that. I mean, for me, it's a little different for you and I. Like, I'm probably not posting somebody and tagging them anytime.
And tagging
soon.
them, of course. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a big fan of the hairy arm in the photo at a restaurant. I do that all the time. I feel like I did that a lot with Kane. I feel like when I would go to LA a lot with him, I always like wanted people to know I was like with a man. That's so fun to like let people know that I'm having a good time and like getting some. Why not?
I mean, obviously you did after your birthday, you did the hard launch, but had you tagged him up until then, or he was just in stuff? Because even in Miami that time, like he was in some of my videos, but like no one knew who he was.
So I was never going to tag him in that post either. Emily got in there and tagged him immediately.
Okay.
I purposely did not tag him in that photo.
Yeah.
But Emily tagged him and I was like, fuck it, well, let's just do it. I also had a lot of conversations with him leading up to it. Like, he was like, you do you. You post and tag whenever you want. I'm fine to like promote that you're my girlfriend. I'm like, yeah, I know you are. I bet you are. But leading up to it, I think the first couple trips we took with each other, no. The third trip we took, I started soft launching.
Yeah.
So I was, it was always restaurant based essentially. We were like at a diner. We were at Mel's Diner on Sunset at like breakfast. I just wanted people to know that I had a sleepover with somebody.
100%. Like, I love shit like this.
I love it.
Like mystery and just like,
I didn't get off on it. We took a trip to the Catskills and I had him take a photo of me. I was in the tub and it was from the perspective of him. He was sitting on the bed taking a photo of me in the tub and his feet were feet with socks on them were in the photo. So like obviously I was like in a hotel with a man. I thought that was really sexy.
So good. That was such a good one. I was like, oh, she is just soft launching the show. But again, like, is it really a soft launch if they're not tagged? Like, I don't know. I mean, I think everyone has a different story here. Like, I mean, this was years ago at this point, but my like more serious ex, like I remember the photo of like, we're together. It was great. We were like on a rooftop at Sunset in Charleston. Like, that was the trip where we decided we were exclusive, boyfriend, girlfriend. We've been dating for like maybe a month, 5 or 6 weeks. But up until that, I was using Snapchat at the time and he was like all over my Snapchat. Cause I was like, I have way less people that follow me over here. Like, it felt like a little private place and just, I would document our whole relationship on Snapchat. Like early on, like I just didn't care. And I would post him like, again, like from the back or something like that. And then just went with like the hard launch. But also I cared way less then. Like, people are so much more invested in our lives now and we take a little bit more care, and especially like, I mean, I'll just tell it like it is. Like, we're dating somebody, we're tagging them, they're going to get a bunch of fucking followers. Yeah. So, and people are going to be invested in their lives. So I don't need to hand somebody that promo if I don't know what's going to last.
Yeah. I mean, I would like to withhold some privacy,
And that too. Yeah.
I'd like to be a little more.
And that too. I'm like, privacy, weird. What a concept.
They're like, your girls aren't private at all. I'd like to control a little bit of privacy within my relationship. And obviously when things, I don't want to be a fucking like jerk and be like, I'm just teasing that I'm dating somebody. You guys know when I'm dating somebody, I just want you to tag them all the time. I think the reason to not do it that people are in their heads about is like, I'm going to be embarrassed if this ends. And it's like, there's nothing embarrassing. Relationships end all the time. Lots of relationships like fail to launch and they're fun for a couple months and then it's over. And I don't think there's any embarrassment in like having posted somebody, you know, I think it's totally fine. Who cares? I think that I see people like that are trying to soft launch and it's so clear that the other person is not like complicit in it. Like,
No, I just know who you're. I know people that you're talking about. Like the person wants to launch them so bad, and you know that they know they can't. The other party would be like, "Please stop."
There's this one particular influencer, and like I have to stop myself because every day she puts her boyfriend on Instagram. She's a fashion influencer. I have never seen someone's partner who hates them so much, and she is just trying so hard, and
it's very tired. She's like, "Babe," and he's like, "I fucking hate you."
She's a bad person, so I don't feel bad saying this. Whatever. Yeah, I feel like as long as the other person is like co-signing this and they're into it, like my ex always thought that was funny and cool. He didn't care. I would be like, move your hands forward, like put your hands on this coffee cup. I'm trying to like get some man nails.
That's what the video is of. It's like telling, like maneuvering someone. I mean, I think there's also nothing wrong with being private forever. Like I know like famous people, even like famous podcasters that have boyfriends that no one knows who they are. You know what I mean? Like they have tried very hard to keep it private and I totally respect that. And then I think you have a fucking Julia Fox situation where she was like, here's all the details of my first date with Kanye. Give the people what they want. Like, I don't know that I'm a Julia Fox fan. I mean, I love the Joms, but like, I just feel like
I love the Joms.
She had this quote that she was like, who cares? Like, celebrities are not that important. Give people what they want. Here's all the details of my date with Kanye West. You know what I mean? Which I can respect that too. Like, who cares? Like, if you have a different boyfriend, someone on your feed every week, do you? What's going to slut shame you? Who cares?
Who cares? Seriously.
But I also get wanting to be private. And I think a lot of people, like, they wait for the, you know, they're just, they want to go soft because they don't know what's going to happen.
They want to go soft. Everyone's like, I'm going to go hard. And everybody else is like, I'm going to go soft.
I'm going to go soft.
I think no matter what you do, it's totally fine. I think for me, the next time I probably promote somebody on social media, like I've said to you before, I would probably fully wait a year, but I'm like an outlier. You know, I want to be a little more private next time around. Because you sign a certain contract with your audience when you start talking about somebody publicly, then you got to talk about the breakup publicly too. You don't have to, you don't do anything. Don't do anything you don't want to do. But I felt like I talked about my relationship every week publicly. I felt like I owed it to our audience to talk about the breakup. And
100%.
So I don't know. I don't know that that's like fair to say to another person, I have to talk about this week. I'm breaking up. You're going to also have to talk about this week. Yeah. That sucks.
Can we talk about the king of soft launches, which is Andrew Schultz? We didn't see his wife's face
years
till they got married.
He's friends with us and I never saw her face.
I mean, we never met her. We heard she's wonderful, but, and Andrew Schultz is a comedian and he's been on the show, but I think it was pretty obvious he wanted to keep her private. You know, we didn't talk to him about it at length, but it was pretty obvious he wanted to keep her far away or like, you know, neck down or like he didn't really get up in her face to the point where I felt like I could recognize her on the street till they were literally married.
Good for literally the wedding.
Yeah.
And I understand it. Like I understand feeling like, cause she's like really a private citizen, feeling like my partner did not sign up for this, you know?
And Francis used to say that too, when he was with Barstool, that he was like, I don't need people knowing who my girlfriend is. Like he didn't ever tag her or really post her at all. His now fiance until he had left Barstool. Cause he was like, I don't need them in her business, you know?
It would worry me that like somebody that I was dating, not that everybody I date's a nice person, but they would do something that was like deemed not nice and our audience would like really go after them. Yeah. And I don't need somebody to deal with that either.
The guy that I was talking about last week, he doesn't have Instagram, which I feel like when you first hear it, it's like, is that weird? And then like the more I thought about it, I was like, kind of awesome. Like how nice. None of y'all are going to slide into his DMs.
It stresses me out because like I like to know what you're doing all day every day, and if you're not posting stories, how do I know?
I couldn't help it. I couldn't help but wonder. And just like that, no, I like couldn't help but think about like kind of how nice I feel like it would be to, in general, to date someone that is not on Instagram,
a truly private citizen,
and someone like. I can post them full face. You don't know who the fuck that is. And you can never get a hold of them. Can you, like, isn't it amazing? Think about it.
It sounds amazing. And I know like an influencer that does this and yeah, you see her man full faced all the time, body, face, expressions, everything and voice. And you have no idea who this person is.
How are you going to get in touch with him?
No idea.
Show up at his work?
No idea. I love it.
Show up at his house? You can't get in touch with him. He's mine.
That's my dream.
You know what I'm saying?
No Instagram stories perform better than when I'm on a trip with somebody I'm dating and I'm trying to put their face in it. I'm trying to do weird stuff like tongue each other on a boat in front of other people.
Well, what you're saying is, yeah, it does perform well. So I do understand that.
Yeah, so I think I'm trying to date a private citizen whose name you guys never know, and I can put him on my Instagram full face.
Right. Okay. All right.
That's the dream.
We love this, and we got some tips from you guys. Again, this is a very like mixed reviews on it. Some people are not about a soft launch, and that's fine too. So, do you just want to go through a couple of these?
Okay, this girl said just post a pic instead that says "fuck it, hard launch."
So Mary Beth Barone did that. Mary Beth, who has been on the show, we love her so much. Fantastic comedian. She dates somebody. She dates an actor who was on Sex Education, which is a show I love. And I don't know if I could tell. I knew she was dating somebody just from being her friend, but I don't think she'd even alluded to dating anyone. I knew that she was going back and forth from here to the UK.
Right.
But I didn't, just from talking to her privately. And then one day he was just on the feed and I loved it.
I love it too. You don't have to warm people up to your relationship. You do you whenever you're ready to do you. Okay. Only the arm, but make sure he has hot hands. Listen, it's embarrassing to soft launch somebody with small hands.
But have you done it? You've done it.
Let me just say for the record, having small hands does not mean you don't have a big, perfect
100%.
dick. And I have had a lot of experience with that. Okay.
Someone says the Instagram story of 2 wine glasses out at a restaurant and all you see is their arm. I like that. Also, like, there's always a moment where you can like kind of make someone jealous and you post 2 wine glasses and it's you and your girlfriend and you're at a brunch.
I do it all the time.
Someone said, I'm done with this. Next pic with a man you'll see of me will be an engagement post. That's crazy when people do that too. Matthew Hussey.
Never
Didn't even know he was dating somebody.
dating.
He's like, I'm engaged. I've seen guys do that. The hardest of hard launches.
I saw somebody go even harder than that. Somebody he's in the public eye and he has been with his now wife for like 5 or 6 years and he had never posted her until the wedding. And it wasn't until a month after the wedding he posted her. It was wild.
I know, you're seeing more of this.
Okay.
Classic hand on the leg in the picture. Yes, legs are good.
Love a leg.
Yeah.
Okay, an Insta story with flowers he got you. Let the world know without exposing too much. I love a soft launch of just gifts. When you and I interviewed Esther Perel, I came home to like a bag of kettle cooked chips and some flowers that I posted. That was really nice.
Oh, that was so nice.
So I did that.
This one, I love this caption: soft launch, but no worries. Everything else is hard. I love that.
Ooh, I like these caption ideas.
I know, because we got soft, we got hard. We're going to talk about a little bit with Kaitlyn today too. This one I laughed at. It says the arm hair launch is out. No one wants it.
Do you not want it?
Listen, I like these things because we're all fucking doing them. So I like seeing it. I'm a basic bitch. I'm going to do an arm hair post here and there, and I want to see them on my feed as well.
Hands, arm hair, a man's leg, any indication
a sexy
that I'm with a man. If I'm like at the beach with a man, I'm putting his full legs against the beach. I'm doing all of it. Oh, a watch.
Yeah.
A man's watch. Yeah, I love an arm.
Oh, if he's tall, my favorite is the mirror selfie where his head is cut off. So if you're so much smaller than, this is probably not going to work for me because we're going to be the same height. I never can find somebody that much taller than me.
This works perfect for me.
For you, yeah. If you were like to do a mirror selfie and you cut his head off.
I love this
like
idea.
He's behind you.
Yes,
no head.
Mirror selfie. I love it. This is my favorite way to launch. Okay.
I love that.
Both partners need to post around the same time as one another. I do like when 2 people are like teasing the launch at the same time. They're co-launching.
They co-launch.
I do like it when you just like tag and they're both at it.
I love this. If you're trying to figure out where they stand, tag them in the IG story and see if they repost.
It's a great litmus test.
This just goes back to like how active are they on social media? You know what I mean? But if they are a person that is reposting all their friends and everybody else that tags them, that could be a good litmus test.
There you guys go. 2 litmus tests. I have not dealt with this in a long time that I like tagged somebody that I liked and they didn't repost me. And I guess, yes, I would only judge it via how active that person was on social media.
Yeah. I am thinking about the guy that I briefly dated. He lives in Miami. This was like shortly after I moved here, and I knew that it was making my ex crazy, and I knew I wasn't going to date him long term. I just felt like it wasn't there, but I was like going down to see him in Miami, and I like went back and forth with him, and we had like kind of a long distance thing for a minute. And my ex was with somebody new. We were broken up, but he was like getting jealous, and he was like reaching out to me, and it made me just post this dude earlier and more. Like I think we were on the beach the first time I went to visit him, and I posted about it because I knew it was like fucking my ex up, and he had fucked me up, and I was just like, I'm going hard launch with this new person. I also don't care. What's he going to do about it?
Also, I just think it's a nice way to make somebody jealous. You just really get in their head and fuck with them because they're like, what is going on? They don't really know. It's even worse, honestly, than knowing. Cause like, at least like if you tag the person, your ex can like click on that person and rip them to shreds. But like, they're like, I don't even know who this is. It could be anybody.
Yeah, I am literally just reminded, like, I met that guy on a press trip, on a work trip, and I'd post him in this like flirty story at the bar in Key West. And like my ex called me that night at 3 a.m. I just got done fucking that guy. And I was like, this is crazy.
You guys, that was one of the first text messages Ashley ever sent me, is talking about this night.
That was how we knew we were friends.
Our friendship.
I was like, I fucked this guy on a press trip.
And I was like, you rolled over and you texted me. That's so sweet.
6 a.m. She's up.
So many people say fuck a soft launch. To me, I just think it's like a fun way to tease. Like, I'm having fun and I'm getting some. To me, it's not like a test in any way. I think that like in all seriousness, if you feel like you have to test a person and like their loyalty to this relationship, maybe that's not so healthy.
For sure.
I just think it's fun to be like, I'm out here, I'm getting some, I'm having fun, you know?
I know. I hadn't, again, not that if someone doesn't repost you, they're not into you. Like maybe they're not ready to, I just think if you're like on a date and you post somebody and then they repost you, that's pretty much like we're dating. So it feels a little less, that's medium.
You can ask them if they're your boyfriend.
It's a medium launch. Soft, medium, and hard. That's the medium. A mutual repost.
I guess I don't care one or the other. It just, I don't know. I can't name what like mistrust looks like. I just know it when I feel it. And if you're not reposting me and I feel like it's because you're trying to hide something, I feel like I genuinely have a good sense of that.
Yeah, you know how you feel. Trust your gut. All right. Well, do you feel like we covered it?
I feel like we covered it. It's a fun thing to talk about.
Okay, so I am so excited for us to stop gatekeeping and tell you about the sneaker brand that we are recently obsessed with, Cariuma. It is a sustainable sneaker company. They make the coolest, cutest sneakers in so many different colors. We're going to get into it, but first we want to thank Cariuma for their support and for the awesome sneakers they sent us. Cariuma has cool, sustainable sneakers loved by surfers and skateboarders and us. They're reimagining classic sneakers with you and the planet in mind. Go to cariuma.com/GGE for 15% off your sneakers. Okay, so first of all, sustainable. They are known for their reforestation efforts in the Brazilian rainforest. For every pair of sneakers sold, Cariuma plants 2 trees, and they've already planted over 2 million. So there's that, which we love. So many different colors, so many different styles, over 33,000 5-star reviews, super comfy, a celeb favorite, and it's just really just flying off the shelves, and we understand why. One of their most popular styles is the Oka Low. I have those in just a basic white, and I am eyeing the all lilac. The all lilac, so even the sole is like this really pretty light pinkish purple color. I'm just obsessed when like the whole shoe is one color. So those are the ones I'm gonna get next. And then I have the Salvis in white and black leather. And these are my true favorites. They fit my foot so well. I have tried on so many different sneakers. I've sent sneakers back that are just too wide. They look too big. This fits my foot so perfectly. And all their shoes, you really can dress up, dress down, wear them with jeans, jean shorts, dresses, whatever you got going on, which we love too.
Yes, I love my picks. I love just like a simple sneaker with a little design element to just like kick up a whole outfit. So I got the Oka Low off-white canvas sneaker. They also come in rose canvas, which I really love. And then they have tons of options for like high top, low top, leather, canvas. So there's so much to choose from for all the different seasons also. So I'm like really liking the selections.
So we're obsessed. Cariuma also ships all their sneakers free and fast in the US and offers worldwide shipping and 60-day free returns. And we have a deal for you guys. For a limited time, Girls Gotta Eat listeners can get an exclusive 15% off your pair of Cariuma sneakers. Go to cariuma.com/GGE to get 15% off. That's cariuma.com/GGE for 15% off, only for a limited time.
Okay, we are so excited to welcome our guest today. She was a finalist on season 19 of The Bachelor. Honestly, one of my favorite contestants of all time, ultimately becoming the lead on The Bachelorette the following season. She was the winner of the 2020 Dancing with the Stars. She recently co-hosted 2 seasons of The Bachelorette with Katie Thurston and Michelle Young. She is the host of Off the Vine podcast. She is on tour with Dancing with the Stars now. Please welcome to the show, Kaitlyn Bristowe.
Hi.
Hi. Hi.
That's a nice little intro. I'm always like, I always feel like so stupid listening to like because I'm like, that's me. I did that. I did that. I did those things.
Well, hopefully you feel hyped up. We are very excited to have you.
Hyped.
We just recorded your podcast with you for the second time. The very first time was in Nashville. It was 2018, actually. It was right when we started touring. We had a show at Zany's that night. And so we met you, came on your show. You had wine at like 10 in the morning.
I know.
And we were like,
Perfect.
we love her. She's amazing.
Breakfast of Champions.
And now you have your own wine line.
I know. That's so crazy because when I first started Off the Vine, I was like, obviously I'm going to drink wine for the podcast. That'll be the concept, having wine, hanging with friends, blah, blah. And, you know, it lubes people up to confess and tell me embarrassing things. So I'm like, great. And then eventually somebody was like, why don't you have your own wine label? And I was like, dummy, why don't I have my own wine label? Like, how did I think of that? So yeah, then I started it and it's been like my favorite project I've ever done.
I mean, how involved are you? Are you going to like the vineyard and are you doing like tasting? Like how is it so fun?
It's actually so much work. I thought it would be like as simple as putting my name on the label and being like, it's mine. But no, it's actually a lot of work. It's like the most hustle I've ever had to do. And I have a team, like I have my business partners and we all bring something different to the table when it comes to building this brand. And everyone is so amazing. But like when it comes to like, I'll be on every single call for trying to get my wine in Walmart or Target. We have a weekly call of like our financials and with distributors and everything. It's full on, like it's the hardest thing I've ever done, but the most rewarding because I'm so involved in it. And like also so fun at the same time. Cause I went out to Napa, our grapes are out there. And then I got to like actually come up with the blend, like how much cab I actually wanted in my cab. And like, I got to taste and decide and measurements and everything to come up with like my perfect wine. It is awesome.
A dream.
I know. I feel like you really hit it out of the park. And also when we recorded with you at 10 in the morning, I couldn't drink because I have one glass of wine. I slur all day and we did confessions with you. And I think I confessed to shitting in my pants. Totally sober. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
I know. I had peed myself and I hooked up with my dad's employee. It was just like the first time I ever shared that story. And Raina was like, who are you?
I totally remember that. I was like, yes, these are the kinds of confessions I live for.
Well, you posted this thing on Instagram the other day and you're like, I love Jason, but I like love that dick more. And I was like, yes, this is the kind of girl I live for.
So let's talk about Jason's dick. No, I'm just kidding. But like that got picked up because I was like,
of course it did.
And of course the headlines were so clickbaity and they were like, Kaitlyn Bristowe reveals Jason's dick. Like it was so extreme. The caption was so strong. The caption was so strong. And I just love you for that. Cause I don't think I've seen someone from like Bachelor Nation like post something that it's not explicit. I mean, whatever. It was just so funny. Can we talk about it?
It's just shock value humor to me, which I know you two are all about, which I love. I just love the shock value. Like I know my dad follows me. I know my mom follows me. I know that Jason's parents, I'm pretty sure Jason's grandparents follow me on Instagram. And I'm like, yeah, that dick is a real bonus. Like they know my sense of humor by now, but I'm telling you, it took a while for Jason's family to get that about me because Jason's mom watched The Bachelor. My line out of the limo was like, you can plow my fucking field. Like that's just who I am. And so you can't take it too seriously. His dick is a bonus, so I'm not lying, but like, I think I saw that on a mug or something one time and I was like, ooh, Instagram caption. And I just knew people would be like, whoa, which was the reaction I wanted.
Your dad sees that, but I forgot about his mom seeing that.
Jason's mom.
Yeah, like your dad has to love you, but like his mom doesn't. So how did she react when she's like, "That's right, I made that dick"?
Yeah, she's like, I'm so proud of my little boy, big boy, I got a little boy.
No, she definitely. She actually commented. My dad liked the photo, and then Jason's mom commented on it and like did like a cover your ears thing, which is so funny because his mom 3 years ago would have been like, Jason, I cannot deal with somebody like this. Like that is so inappropriate. And now she's like, oh, Kaitlyn, like
I love it.
I know, it's amazing. They've really come a long way with my sense of humor and now appreciate it. And I love his family so much. And I love that I can post that and be like, they get me now.
That's so great. I mean, was it you that kind of got him to that place, like just slowly wore him down? I mean, were they a little more conservative?
Yeah. Like the first family trip we went on to Mexico, his mom actually sat me down, and she's hilarious and witty herself. And she's so fun and just all about having a good time, but they're more private. Mm-hmm. And so what happened was I don't want to say I got Jason fired from corporate America, but I didn't help the situation. But I mean, he was wanting to get out on his own anyways and get out of corporate America. So he was trying to find a way. I just kind of like, I nudged, pushed along for him.
You just called his boss and quit for him.
Well, what I did was I talked about how the first time I hooked up with Jason, I was on my period. So we dry humped, and then he like gave me an orgasm, and then I had a booger in my nose. So he picked it for me. And I was like, it was a real like love at first sight moment. And
first over the pants orgasm moment.
Yeah. OTP. And so I was okay with talking about that on my podcast because duh. And it got picked up, and Jason's boss called him, was like, would you like to Google your name? And Jason was like, what? And it had like turned into all these headlines of like how Kaitlyn shares too much information. And like, it was the first thing that comes up if you Google Jason's name, like he gave her an orgasm while she was on her period. And so
good for him. Good for him.
Yeah. So we did a little spin zone, and we're like, this bank that Jason worked for, like he was like, this is run by women. And I was just having consensual dry hump, whatever you want to call that, with my girlfriend who is menstruating, which happens to every woman. And he was like, he kind of spin zoned it and turned around on them. And so then they gave him a nice little package to leave the company, and he got to do what he wanted.
What is this story? Crazy story, Kaitlyn. Holy shit. If I wish every guy that gave me an over the pants orgasm got fired from their job. I wish that the promise of the pussy was that good that they were like, I'm out.
I mean, I just think it's you and people like you and people like Rada and us are like my favorite type of people that are just so open. Like we're all fucking, what are we doing? Not like talking about it. Like every time I kind of like, sometimes I'll catch myself. I'm like, did I go too far? Like, did I say too much? And I'm like, no, I just had sex. Like I just sucked a dick. Like I don't, who cares? Like we're all doing it. Like, just why are we not open about it? And I feel like my family, they've never been like private or anything like that, but they're even starting to get more like cool with it. And not that I'm trying to hear about like my parents' sex life or anything, but like something happened on like the Wordle group chat last week that was just funny. And like my brother was joking about having sex with his wife, and I don't want to cross a line, but like, I feel like we're all just becoming, especially with someone like you or like us in the family, like you just have to ease up a little bit. And I love to hear it.
Yeah. My brother and his wife said to me the other day, we were on like a FaceTime, and I forgot what they were talking about having sex. And I was like, you guys are doing this like right in front of me. They've been together for 10 years. My brother was like, we've been here together for 10 years. We need to fold you into the mix to keep it going. Like we have nothing left, we've done it all. So we thought maybe you would just watch, like I do think that like with podcasts like this, with me and Ashley and the family and things like that, people are just like a little more open. Like we all have sex. Are we like pretend? It's like when you're like trying to get pregnant and people are like, so you guys trying? And it's like, so now it's okay to acknowledge that we have sex.
I know. I think that way about like Bachelor World too, with like the fantasy suites, where it's like, if it's not talked about, then it's okay. But if you talk about having sex in the fantasy suite, you're slut shamed, or like, oh my God, you slept with like this. Why do I always want to call Colton? Clayton, like sleeping with 2 women. It's like, oh, God forbid the Bachelor sleeps with 2 women. Who cares? He's trying to make a life altering decision. And that's what the fantasy suites are for.
It's if also, you so choose to do it. I'm charged up. Did you see who we cast this whole season? Everyone is sexy. I would want to fuck the whole cast.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So we mentioned this a little bit briefly on your show, but you said that Jason used to just be more private as a person, like even family aside. Like, how did that work? And episode before you joined us, we talked about soft launches and just like being private with who you're dating. But was it ever an issue?
Yeah, it totally was an issue because Jason like went from getting his education. His family is very much like you get out of school, you get your education, you go work your job. Like that's what you do in your life. And so for him to go on The Bachelor, it really threw them off because the fact that the cameras had come into their house and they did a hometown, like they're just very private people. So when we started dating, his mom knew who I was and she was kind of like, Jason, like this girl's a firecracker. Like, are you sure you can handle it? And he's like, yeah. And that after that article came out, his grandpa was like, getting Google notifications about him and his grandma, and they were just so not used to it that his mom actually sat me down in Mexico on our first family trip and said, Kaitlyn, like, can you not involve my family in this? Like, I can't have my dad calling me about these messages about Jason. And I just bawled my eyes out.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And she felt so terrible because to her, that was like a normal ask, like pretty reasonable ask. And I get that. But I was like, I have built my whole career and brand around being an open book with my sense of humor. Like, this is who I am. And like, is this not going to work because of this? And I think in that moment she saw like, my heart is always in the right place. I pride myself on being a good human being. And she just didn't know me to my core well enough yet. And in that moment, she saw how badly I felt. And I think she was like, well, or we can work around it. Or like, she felt so bad. And it was like, from that moment on, they were like so accepting of who I was. And like, I've been so close with them ever since that moment. And so the privacy thing, I think it was hard for them to adjust, but I think they've really relaxed over that a lot over the past years. And now they embrace it fully and they're so sweet. And, but with the privacy thing with Jason and I, when we started dating, of course, everyone thought it was too soon because Sean and I had released this, breakup statement. And it was like, Jason and I were talking, we weren't hooking up. We had like
dry humping yet. Yeah.
We weren't dry humping yet. We were literally in two different, he was in Seattle and I was in Nashville. I was going through a breakup. We literally talked about finances and I was like trying to help him. I'm like, do you want to build your Instagram or do you want to go back to corporate America? Like, we were kind of talking as friends because we had met on the podcast. Now, I didn't know that he was fully invested in me and had a crush on me and knew I was going through a breakup, but he was trying to give us like the respect and space to do so, where I didn't have a crush on him at first. I was just like, wow, that guy's so nice and so cute. And so Sean and I were going through a breakup, but really Sean and I had been going through a breakup for a full year.
Right.
So to me, it wasn't fast for moving on. It was like, holy crap, that's finally like put out there into the world that it's done. And just with Jason and I talking every day, it turned into something way quicker than I thought it would. So the privacy thing was tough with like trying to put it out there. Like, I didn't do the whole, like you call a soft launch where it was like his legs and me like between them, but just like a picture of his legs. And I'm like, who's the mystery man?
Kaitlyn was like, fuck it. It's all hard everything over here. Hard launch, hard dick. We're
gonna see that dick's about. I want to go back to something you said before we like totally move on for it, because I think it's really important. And you said that like we had been breaking up for a year. Yeah. So like people might think when you move on right away after a breakup, or if you're totally fine after a breakup, quote unquote, you appear to be totally fine, that like you broke up on a Tuesday and Thursday I feel great.
Right.
And for most people, you have been percolating about this. You've been thinking about it for months. You guys have been having, adults have discussions about breaking up. Yeah. Not everybody walks in the door and blindsides you. Adults have been talking about this for a long time. So I'm glad that you said, this has sort of been in the works for a long time, because I didn't wake up and break up with him one day
and then start dating someone new. Yeah.
No, it was such a long process. Like, I was in Canada and then I went to Italy and I was trying to just like be around my family and friends because I was going through it. And I think everyone knows this by this point, but like, I didn't want that relationship to end. Looking back now, I'm like, how did I not want that to end? That was awful. But I was trying to process it in that time. And I think within the year, and when I finally got home from these places and surrounding myself with people I loved, I was like so ready for it to be done. I had accepted it. I had already like felt that loss and grieved that relationship already, so that when we actually put out that statement, it had already been done and I had already accepted it and everything had already like moved on. And I was not okay with, like, I felt really low and sad, and I had worked so hard on that relationship that I was like, it felt like a failure. But then I was like, so empowered also in it because I was like, I knew it wasn't right. And I don't know, I just taken the right steps in my life to grieve the relationship and to move forward and to be okay with it being over. But people didn't see that process. I was, we were trying to like convince people that no, we were just like, I was in Canada and I just didn't want to involve people in that story at that time until it was officially over. And then I was like, well, I guess I'll talk about it on my podcast.
Yeah. Also, like, even if you did move on what someone deems to be too quick, why is it any of your business? Like, it's just, it's like people just project their shit onto you.
I clearly didn't care if people thought it was too quick because I didn't hide it. So
yeah. I have a question. We can move on. I mean, you and Jason have been together for years now. We're like, tell us about the beginning stages, but I am curious where you said you didn't see him romantically and he obviously felt a little different. Was there a moment?
Yeah. Walk us out of the friend zone.
Yeah. That was, I friend zoned him because I truly didn't even think I was going to go into a relationship or like, I was like so totally okay on my own that I was like, I'm going to live a life for a couple of years and be single. And so my mindset just wasn't there. But because we kept talking, I just kept realizing more and more how special this person was. I was like, oh my God, he is so smart and so sweet. And I love his relationship with his family. And he's just so well-spoken. And so he's just got such a good head on his shoulders. And he would always talk about his parents' marriage and how they've been together for like 35 years and how his dad is to his mom. And I was like, oh my gosh, this guy's incredible. And I still didn't see it as anything until I remember sometimes I have whiskey baths where I'll just like pour a whiskey and have a bath and like,
same.
Ooh. You do?
So do I. I love it. I get just like a nice glass of whiskey and I sit in the tub and I get like whiskey drunk in the tub. I shut the door. It's just steamy. I love it.
Oh my God. Same. I love it so much. And I was just like in a mood and I was like, wait, I keep wanting to talk to him. Like, this is crazy. And in that moment, he sent me a photo of a girl who like worked for an NHL team. And I don't know if he thought that was cool or something. And she had like a decent amount of followers on Instagram. And he sent it to me and he was like, this girl like really keeps trying with me and wants to like go out on a date. Should I go? And in that moment, I was like, no. And like, it was a trick on his part because he wanted to see how I reacted. And
Good for him. I love that.
It was a good move. And I literally thought in that moment, I was like, oh crap. I do not want him to go on a date with this girl. Oh, wait, I guess I have feelings for him. And then I told him and I sent him like a picture of like me having a whiskey in the bath, like covering the right places. And I was like, don't do it. And he was like, oh my God.
I love this origin story.
You ran out of the friend zone. You sent a naked, wet photo with whiskey.
So I love like a couple things about this. That's a great move. And man, woman, whoever could use that move. I think that's great. It's because I think you'll know immediately. Like, I think it triggers something in someone if they like you. And if they literally don't at all, they're going to be like, yeah, you should totally go out.
Yeah.
But I like also that you said you just felt like you wanted to keep talking to him. I think that is such a solid indicator. Like we always say, if you go on a first date with somebody and it doesn't blow you away, but you're like, I just want to see him again. Like, I don't know if I want to fuck them, but I just want to see them or talk to them again. I think you should always listen to that voice.
Yeah. Oh, it's so true. I feel like all my past relationships, I've had like an almost unhealthy obsession with them where I'm like, I can't be without you, or I like so attracted to them at the beginning and I like need to impress them. And that is like so not who I am anymore. And I felt like, oh, I don't have this, like, I don't want to go jump his bones right away. But then I fell in love with who he was and that made me want to jump his bones. And then it just started as such a solid foundation for us that now it's like such a healthy kind of love, which is so new to me. It's so great.
Well, it sounds like you have like you maybe with a people or a person that like sort of brought out this anxious attachment style in you and you found the person that promoted the secure attachment style in you. And so much about adult love to me is that like, wait, I like this person as a person. I like how they speak about their family. I respect how they are at their job. And I had a situation like that where I met somebody I wasn't necessarily, I was like, I don't see him sexually necessarily. He's handsome. He's a great face, but like, I just think this is the coolest person. And I like just hanging out with him and being around him and hearing what he has to say. And you like, I don't want to say attraction grows. I'm attracted to, but I didn't know that my desire to like sleep with this person would necessarily grow. And it did, because I was like, this person is the coolest person.
Totally. And I feel like I like that Jason was into me right away. Like it didn't take time because I love feeling desired. And
Same.
it was like just such a good feeling to be like, oh, you were already in love with me. Like he called his mom after our podcast. It was like, I'm going to marry her. And I was like, called my friend and I was like, that guy needs to be the next Bachelor.
You're like, just wait till that whiskey bath. You'll feel some kind of way. I love that. Like, that's my turn on. That's someone that's into me. If you don't like me, I don't like you. Like, why?
And he played it so well. Like he was so flirty in not crossing a line kind of way, but like, I don't know, everything he did to go about that situation just worked.
Yeah. And we also say like, you can tell that you're sort of over a person or you don't have feelings for them anymore if they tell you about a date they're going to go on and you have no reaction at all. Or you're like relieved. You're like, good, it'll get him off my dick. Yes.
Yeah.
It sounds like he really reverse psychology you in the best way.
This is a great move.
Nude back.
You
guys. So I have a question for you. Because Ashley and I are huge fans of nudes, and just like I'll sext all day. I'll have phone sex every day. I'm obsessed with it. So when you guys have been long distance, are you still sending nudes? Are you sexting? Are you phone sexing?
What's the strategy?
Like still now while I'm on the road, or
like
when
while
we were
you're
doing long distance?
While you're in Colorado Springs at that hotel with the Keurig behind you, are you sending him? Like, are you taking 2 Keurig cups and putting them in front of your nipples and send?
Well, now I'm going to. That's a great idea. I am all about sending nudes because I happen to like 80% of my life love my body. 20% I'm so hard on myself and have dysmorphia, and it's usually around my period. But I love feeling sexy and sending him pictures like that because he loves it, and he can lie to me all he wants, but he's like, well, I don't need porn if I have that. He's probably watching porn. But like, I'm like, oh yeah, that's like, he doesn't need anything else but these photos. So I love doing nudie photos, and I feel like nude photos always turns into like, let's do this. Yeah.
Or whatever.
Do you have a go-to poses? We've done whole episodes about nudes, so we just like love to ask people what their go-to poses are.
Ooh, what is my pose? Oh, I love, the brand Joa Brown.
Love.
That's so weird. Raina's just been talking about
I'm obsessed with their tops. They're so hot.
Same. So I love to put on a Joa Brown top and have like an under boob moment.
Ooh.
And then like, just like slightly cover the vag area, but have an under boob and then everything else showing. So I usually do something like that. Or actually, I just love my boobs. So I'll do under boob or just show my boobs. And then sometimes I'm trying to explain it, but also it's a podcast. So I'm going to have to like show you and explain at the same time. Like from like the back where you're like a little bent over in your underwear, but nothing else on. And they're like, ooh, what's under there?
Yes. It's the best move. I started doing it recently because I recently got a breast reduction. So I'm like, how do I incorporate my butt into these photos? So whether or not you've underwear on, maybe your pussy sticks out the back a little bit, but from behind, just ass shot with nothing else on. Ashley and I always say like, you don't have to be like fully spread eagle, finger up your finger up your, like anything suggestive is so sexy. I love that you said those Joe Brown tops. If we're gonna like blow the company up, anything that's like suggestive of nudity. It doesn't have to be so hardcore. I think it's like can be even sexier than just like a straight up nude. I mean, send those too.
Wait, do you know what else I love? Which I don't know if actually this is hilarious. So when I first met Jason, I did not have laser hair removal, and I would get such bad ingrown hairs that I would leave like a little tiny strip because it just hurt me too bad, and then it felt too rough if I didn't have something there. And he was like. Because I'm like 3.5 years older than him. And he asked me, he was like, what is with that? Like, is that a thing for your age group?
He said, fuck you. Is the landing strip a granny thing? That's what he asked.
I was like, oh shit. Oh,
your age group just killed me.
And he's like, I guess just like, I don't know, the people that and I'm like, enough. I don't need to hear about the lack of hair on your previous hookups. But anyways, I've since then got laser hair removal. And so I'm like a freaking dolphin everywhere.
Do you want a nude in return?
I was just going to say that. Is Jason sending back anything or just words or videos?
Oh, Raina. I love a jerk-off video.
I actually too am not mad at a jerk off video. I don't really love like a nude sent back from a guy. Well, Jason, let's be specific.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, ooh, that doesn't really do anything for me. If it's a video of that does something for me.
I like a dick outline. Like, I just feel like if you're, you're lounging in some sweatpants or joggers and you're hard, like, sure, I'll take it. But I'm so much more about like, tell me what you want to do to me. Like,
totally. Yeah. That's what it usually turns into. I feel like, cause we're like never in the same city. So this happens a lot, but it's actually really great. I think same thing with long distance is like, you get to miss each other and then you're all horned up when you get home.
100%.
Yeah. I mean, I've exclusively done long distance for like a couple of years at this point. I mean, I slept with people in New York, but my last long-term relationship and the guy before that, long distance. And I think that the magic does last a little longer. I mean, I love having like a life setup where I can like go to work all day long and I just like have my thing. I'm fully focused. My head's down. I'm with Ashley, or we're touring, we're traveling. Yeah. And that like my interaction with my partner at night is just like a long phone call to catch up, or sexting, or having phone sex before bed. Like, I love that. I love to Zoom with somebody. I find it really intimate to build a relationship like that. And of course you build intimacy in person as well. But I think it's really exciting to build intimacy when you can't touch each other, when the night doesn't just end with like sex and falling asleep. Mm-hmm. You learn so much about the person because you are literally forced to interact only verbally. And I think there's something really special and intimate about that.
I agree. And it like I feel like it makes you so much more comfortable when you see them in person. Cause so a lot of times you'll say things on a text that you wouldn't necessarily say during sex. And then I feel like once you've like done that, it's like gives you permission to do it in the bedroom when you're together.
We've gotten some people like really recently saying like, I'm inexperienced or I don't know how to introduce anything a little kinkier in a relationship. Doing it via sext is so perfect because somebody, or we always say, I heard this thing on this podcast, but saying it in a sext is such a good way to open the door and be like, what do you think about this? So that when you're in person, you're like, I already told you about this.
Totally. I totally agree. But I think people get so in their head that they're going to ruin something if they say something wrong. But really, like, I think we all want to be like talked to like that in the bedroom. Like, I don't think anyone, well, it depends how far you go, but I think everyone likes a little dirty talk.
100%. I mean, I think of course, some people are just way farther along and their sexual exploration and their kinks or whatever. But I think you can usually feel out where somebody is, like bare minimum stuff, like sexy talk, dirty talk. Here's what I want to do to you. Stuff that's like, I guess on the lower scale of crazy and wild is who doesn't want it? And if it really is like a huge turnoff, you're like, that's just not for me at all. That's like not a match. As a relationship.
Exactly.
Yes. I mean, ultimately, aren't we all a little crazy and we're just looking for somebody that matches our brand of crazy? And if you can't ultimately be open about those things, then like, what are we doing here? Because aren't we trying to build like a long-term relationship? So shouldn't I be honest at some point about how I feel and the weird stuff about me? I told somebody last night, it was like it was just a little more open than I normally am. I was like, you look so handsome on your Instagram story. I watched it like a whole bunch of times. And it was weird for me to admit that I just like kept refreshing this Instagram story, but like, I thought it was cute and funny. And the person that like somebody that I am attracted to will think that that's funny and not crazy and weird and creepy.
Yeah. Totally.
I see you saying stuff like that to Jason. I just feel like you guys are obsessed with each other. Like it's nice to see, like, it doesn't feel unbalanced. It feels like both of you are just like totally obsessed with one another in a healthy way.
For the most part. But also I don't want to paint a picture of like, we're both just so happy and loving and obsessed with each other, because we get in arguments and there are times where I'll literally be like, what am I doing? That's when I have 2 to 3 days of my month where I literally am so irritable. You cannot like even come near me. I am such a hot mess. Like, I get so depressed on my period. It's like next level. And when I'm like that, like, Jason's really obviously good about helping me with that, but also that's when we argue and get in fights and like can't like get on the same page as each other. But I mean, I just think that's a normal relationship too.
Well, let's talk about it, because we wanted to, our listeners were like, let's talk about mental health stuff. When you're kind of going through those darker times, I mean, how does he react? What do you need from him? How does it work inside the relationship?
I mean, it gets dark. It gets dark for me on my period. Like, I always say I'm so like grateful that I see light at the end of the tunnel, because it's only hormonal for me. And I know so many people suffer with that daily. So I have so much empathy for people who struggle with mental health, because I experience it once a month or twice a month, whatever. It's awful. And I don't even know how to ask for help from Jason sometimes, because I don't think anything could help me in those times. Like, even him helping might like throw me over the edge. So I don't even know what to do sometimes. But what's funny is I'm such a freak with my cycle. I have like this app. They should sponsor me because I am invested in it. It's called MyFlow. And it literally tells me what like phase I'm in my period cycle. So like it even told me, let's see my phases. It told me I'm in my luteal phase, which at the end of that is when I get really dark and twisty, and it'll send him an email about where I'm at in my cycle and how to help me through it. So ways to support me, good gifts to send or things to say to me in that time. It's so wild. And so he tries and he's so sweet, but like, it must be so overwhelming for him because he has like situational anxiety and sometimes like he'll experience it, but really he's a pretty much overall happy-go-lucky guy who's just always very positive, and he thinks it's as easy as like, well, just choose to be happy today. And I'm like, oh my God, I hate that advice because I'm not going to choose happiness today. I'm going to choose depression and I'm going to sit in it and I'm going to lay in my bed. I'm going to lean in fully to my depression and I'm going to sob over nothing. And that's okay. So it's hard for him to like grasp the concept of choosing to be depressed if he thinks you can choose to be happy, but he tries really hard to be sensitive to it and like try and understand where I'm coming from and say really nice things to me in those times. But sometimes he's just like, okay, this is, now you're being like too much. He's like, I'm trying here. And I'm like, you're not trying hard enough. But again, it's only 2 months of every month. Otherwise it's pretty good, but I'm like a happy overall person, but in my hormonal luteal phase, if you will, I'm really dark. I'm really dark.
Are you on birth control or like what do you,
No.
You're just raw dog, like nothing?
Raw dog. If I'm ovulating, which obviously I know when I am because I'm so in tune with my body, we'll use a condom, which obviously nobody likes, but otherwise, like I wouldn't be upset if I got pregnant, but I'm not on birth control. I'm on anxiety and depression meds, which have truly changed my life. Okay. For whoever believes in like, if you believe in taking meds or if you don't believe in that and doing more natural things, God, all the power to you. I really, truly only need it for when I'm hormonal. So I do want to try and see what happens when I go off of it, but I'm also scared to do that because it really helps.
We believe in both. I mean, it's just like, there's no, I think everybody's so different. And so we're so lucky to have science and medication and things like that. But also, some people are like, I'm able to get through it with these more natural remedies. It's like, you do you.
Yeah.
I respect that.
We believe in whatever makes you feel good. And your own body is your own journey. And I was going to ask you, do you remember like at the very beginning of the relationship, having conversations with him? Like now it seems like he at least sort of like knows you. He knows how you're going to react a little bit. He's like, I've been here before. I know how to support her a little bit. Did you have like specific conversations with him in the beginning of the relationship? Like, this is going to happen. This is what I need from you. Or was this always a learning process for 3 years?
I mean, it's still a learning process, but I was so open and upfront in the beginning with him and who I was and what he was getting into and what I was going to get into, because I was like, I'm not going to jump into a relationship this quickly if he doesn't like fully know my negotiables, my non-negotiables, my dark times. Like I want someone to know that about me right up front. And it helped for me to be on The Bachelor and Bachelorette because you just talk about like such important things and you're just so upfront about like what you want out of marriage. And so like some of our first conversations were some of the deepest conversations we still to this day ever had, because I told him I was on medication for depression and that during certain times I will like sob uncontrollably and I will probably make him question like how I feel about him because I'll be in this dark time and certain things I'll question when 5 days later I'll be like, what was I thinking? And I told him like, I don't know if I believe in like a marriage because every relationship I've had has failed. My parents' relationship has failed. I get really insecure about like the fact that you could leave me and fall out of love to the point where I could push it there sometimes. And I told him everything. And he told me about his past relationship and what makes him insecure and how I can help in those times. Like it was like the healthiest conversation to ever have. And we set so many boundaries and that doesn't always still just, work for us. We still have to go back and revisit conversations we've had in the past, but it helps so much to have those conversations right up front.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you see somebody long-term, like just lay it all on the table. I mean, that's like top level raw vulnerability.
Yeah.
But if you think that's your partner, like, why would you not be like, this is it. And this is me. And this is like the deepest,
I was
part of me.
I was 33 and I was like, if we're going to do this, like you have to know and love every part of me. And it was really intimidating too, because he doesn't really suffer from mental health issues. And he has this really healthy family he comes from. His parents are still so in love. And he's got this like vision of life as like, he's like, I had a great childhood and my parents are happy and I got my education and now I'm doing what I love to do. And like, everything's great. And I'm like, well, here's my trauma. And I've done some like really deep diving with therapy. And this is, things that set me off. And he was kind of like, oh, okay. So there's a lot you have to unpack. And I'm like, you don't have a lot to unpack. Damn it. Shit.
Well, I think it's really beautiful that he wanted to learn how to support you better and that you committed to teaching him how to learn to support you better, because I'm sort of on the other end of the spectrum too. I'm a pretty happy person. I don't suffer from a super amount of anxiety, healthy amounts of anxiety, but I come from a nice family day to day. I'm fine. I dated a partner who grew up with a lot of trauma. And I think a lot of the arguments or fights or ways that he felt was obviously informed by that trauma. I think that maybe sometimes we didn't spend enough time teaching each other how to get through those times. Mm-hmm. And in retrospect, I think I was always really kind, but I think it's always just important to recognize that not everybody has the same background as you and that the way that they're reacting comes from trauma or their own experiences, and trying to understand that. And to have a partner that'll explain those things to you is really nice and supportive, I think.
Yeah. I'm like, I've had so many relationships where I tried to be like the tough guy that I was like, I don't get like that. And I don't know. And at the beginning, I'm all like, putting up a front, and then eventually people are going to get to know you. Yeah. That's why when I went on the Bachelor, Bachelorette, I was like, God, I just got to be like myself. Otherwise, like, I'm not going to have any longevity in like a business, a relationship, like anything that I want to do. And I think I found myself getting rewarded for that. Like not just financially, but like emotionally rewarded for just being true to myself and being upfront. And then that's what entering this relationship, I was like, well, it's only benefited me in the past. And if I want to have this long-term relationship with this person, like he has to know everything. And if it's going to scare him away, then like, fuck that guy anyways.
Right. Yeah. And you had a nice starting point knowing he already was into you.
Totally. Yeah. That was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Should we do a couple? Is this weird?
Yeah. So Kaitlyn, you said something when we were recording your podcast that jogged our memory from the original email that started this segment we do called Is This Weird?
Yes.
Okay.
You said Jason likes a morning bath, and we got this DM so many years ago. The way she wrote it was so funny. I was trying to find it, but it was literally like 3 years ago, but I can remember it pretty clearly. And she said that I'm dating this guy that takes a morning bath, and they were new. And she said, he's literally in the bath with a half chub while I'm doing my mascara. Is this weird? And so we just were like, is a morning bath weird? Also, like, nothing's weird. We don't want to like shame anybody for their lifestyle.
I think it's
or
weird.
Their kinks or anything, but let's talk about Jason's morning bathing routine
and his morning tuck. I would like
to
about that as well.
So you can, I never want to yuck someone's yum, but morning baths to me are weird because a bath to me is a wind down time. Yes. Like it's something to relax and like get like ready for bed or something. And like, it's soothing. It doesn't like get me started on my day and like get me all like, energized for the day. So I do think it's weird. He also can admit that it's kind of weird, but he also admits that he loves it.
It's so crazy. Because like, what kind of time do you have?
Also,
Jason?
We've been relaxing. We've been relaxing the last 8 hours. It's go time.
Right? Like you wake up and you're like, I'm going to get down again. I'm going to horizontal again.
It's shower, get wet, and get out time. It's not lay down and relax some more. We've been doing this.
And he will stay in there for a solid hour doing emails and having coffee.
Yes. What is his life? Getting pruny in a bag.
He literally has one of those things like the table bag, like it goes across so you can put your laptop on and have your coffee. Like
he has a full setup. Did you buy it for him or did he buy it?
His mom bought it for him.
He is it starts to get cold though. Like the bath doesn't stay hot. Like, does he drain it and refill it?
Maybe. I'm still sleeping when he's doing it. I'm literally still sleeping when he's having his bath. He wakes up early and I'm a sleeper inner. And so I'm like, I don't do your thing. I don't know.
Not that he's doing business work in the bath. He has an entire desk set up in the bath.
Let me tell you, Jason is always doing business. It doesn't matter if he is in the bath, on the toilet, in his office, at the gym, at the spa, like he is working somehow. It's insane.
Todd, you seem like that too, though. You got a lot going on.
Well, I actually really pride myself on having balance. Like I will let myself sleep in. I will let myself have like a mental day and take it off. Like if I'm at the spa or the gym, I try and like just be in the moment. But I also, when I do work, I work really hard.
Yeah, I love that.
I think I've tried, at least in the last year, trying to get better at telling people I need that, and just not going to plans because I don't need to go to plans. I don't feel like it. I'm not going to want to have 4 plans in 5 nights, and just feeling like I don't have shame in saying to somebody, I sort of need to relax and have my own time because Ashley and I work really hard. When I'm working, you
guys work so hard. Yeah, you need to be fully transparent with people because you'll be a better friend, business partner, everything if you take those days and take that time. Like I tell Jason sometimes, like, dude, take a mental day. Like just, but he's like, he gets like crazy if he's not working. I'm like, I can fully enjoy it. But yeah, some people are just wired differently.
Jason's like, I have no depression or anxiety and I'm fine and I can handle it all. And it's never
because of my bath.
I know.
Maybe that's the secret to his happiness.
Ashley,
I don't know.
We 2 more emails for you. Where are they?
I just started them. They're both are just like butt related. I don't know. It's like, why not do a theme? You know, this one is titled Butt Cheek Sex. Okay. She says, hi, Rain and Ashley. I think I have ultimate story for you guys. So she's 18. She's in college in Minneapolis and she lost her virginity in November and now has been testing the waters, maybe with a morning bath. However, when I met a guy at the bar last night, things took a turn. I bring him back to my dorm in her lofted bed. Oh God. And get busy. Except when I tell this man how to finger me 3 times, he still was going at nothing. However, when he finally puts it in, it's in between my butt cheeks. And when I tell him, I don't think it's in, he moves it and says, I'm in now. She says, babe, you are most certainly not. Like, bitch, wouldn't you know if you were in my vagina? But Lord, these cheeks made him finish. Obviously this could take a turn, or is this weird? Those are 2 of our segments, but I feel like you guys are my role models and this would make you laugh.
Oh my God. That's amazing. That is so funny. Wait, so he was like here were the butt cheeks and he was like slapping it in there.
So I have experienced this, but the guy, he knew what he was doing and he was like a born again virgin and he like rubbed his dick between my butt cheeks and came on my back. And then he told me he was a born again virgin, but he knew what he was doing. This guy seems like he just didn't know.
Yeah. Obviously it felt good for him, but like how drunk was he that he did not know he was inside of her?
I don't know.
He thought he was.
How tight are her butt cheeks? I mean, good for her. This sounds like somebody
clenching.
I mean, you know how those 19-year-old booties are? They're just like high and
she's been squatting waiting for this moment her whole life. I also like that she was like, I tried to tell him how to finger me 3 times. It's like, oh my God.
How did you? Okay, you know what you got to do at that point is just take somebody's hand and put it where you want it. I mean, it just sounds like somebody who's really inexperienced, which in college, obviously, like who isn't?
That's true.
A couple times you have a sexual experience with somebody, it's always weird. You don't know their bodies. You don't know how to like move.
Yeah, I was going to be really hard on this person, be like, how the fuck are you not knowing what you're doing after she's told you 3 times and then you can't find the hole? And then I'm like, oh, they're 18.
Yeah. And they're in a lofted bed. Like you don't know which way up. But
that's true.
It's a little frustrating to be like, to want to be penetrated and you're like, you're not in. And he's like, I'm in. And you're like, you're in between.
You're like, you're actually not.
You're literally not even near it.
And I've explained this to you 3 times how to get inside of there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, next time, just take his hand and shove it up your cooch and you guys will be fingering on your way.
Well, Kaitlyn, you mentioned this like period dry hump situation. So are you like period sexy now? Or are you still not a period sexy?
I don't like period sex. It doesn't do anything.
So it's your dark time of the month.
It's my dark time. I don't want to be touched. I'm not turned on. I'm not into it. But a week after when I'm ovulating, I'm like, let's go. But no, period sex to me, I'm not, again, if I wish I liked it. I've heard that people like love it and that's when they're the most turned on. But I take it as like my me time where I'm like, I am releasing things that are supposed to be released and I don't want to be touched. And it's like my me time.
Yeah. You're like, I'm going to just be here crying. Do not try to dry hump me.
Yeah.
It happened once. And that
Yes. It happened once, but it was in the honeymoon phase. So
the dopamine
had
was
to do
flowing.
it back then. Yeah. Now I love you. I got the ring. I don't have to have period sex with you anymore. I will say I do not mind period sex at all. I mean, it depends on the partner. I'm probably not having period sex with a brand new person, but as long as it's not, I mean, I don't get really heavy periods. It's not as long as one of the days. If I'm not like bleeding everywhere and you know what really takes me out of it, if you can smell the blood, I'm not into it.
Yeah. That's fair.
Otherwise, I don't care. I'll fuck up some sheets. I'll fuck up a whole hotel room.
Okay. But I don't know if this is going to make me weird. I hate getting fingered.
I love it when somebody, well, it depends. Listen, it depends on the moment. I mean, I love when somebody rubs my clit. It's my favorite thing in the world.
Yeah.
Just,
100%.
I mean, just fully fingering me. I feel like we've done men a disservice by calling it fingering because we've misnamed the act. Like men grow up thinking they're just supposed to like ram a finger in you.
Bang.
And some people like that.
Nobody wants finger banging. I'll take a finger when someone's going down on me.
I'll take a finger for that.
Sure.
I'll also take a finger when I am blowing somebody. If you can somehow maneuver that.
I
like an initial, like, I like if you want to just get up in there and be like, tell me how wet I am. Yeah. But then it's like, we're not going to be, it's like, it seems to be.
I guess it's the finger banging that like, I think I was traumatized by like my first time where he was probably too young to know what to do. And he was literally banging and it hurt. And I was like, don't ever do that to me again. And I felt violated. So now I have like a bad image of it. And I'm like, nah.
Bad taste in your vagina.
Not for me.
Finger bangings. It's over.
No.
Okay. We have one more.
This one's kind of funny because it goes in with her, like the wax situation. Do you want to read it?
You read it. Ashley reads better than I do.
Okay. So she says, I went on a Hinge date this past Friday night with a guy for the first time. After drinking a lot of wine, we went back to his apartment and started hooking up. He started fingering me. This is so on brand. And then immediately went for my butthole. I normally don't let guys who I just meet put a finger in my butt, but I was drunk and I do like butt stuff. So I was like, oh, well, whatever. Anyway, after a couple minutes, he stopped and asked me, do you not shave your butthole? Side note, I had no intentions of hooking up with him, so I had not shaved prior to the date. I told him that, and he immediately asked if he could pay for me to go and get a Brazilian wax. He insisted and would not stop asking if he could pay for it when he could make the appointment for me. And then he proceeded to ask if we could shower together so he could shave my butthole because it would turn him on. Is this weird? So much is happening.
Okay, the thing that I think is weird is like shaming a woman to the point that you're like, I'll make the appointment for you. Can you go do this?
I'll pay for it. No.
Anything else? I mean, whatever. You can shave my butthole in the shower if you really want to, I guess. It's very intimate to me for like a first couple encounters.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. I'm trying to think about this one. Okay, so first of all, I'm so vanilla. I'm like, no, I don't like butt stuff. I don't like fingering. I don't mind a little butt stuff if it's not going in.
Yeah, I don't know. Like women typically don't have really hairy buttholes. Like he must have like a thing. He just hates it. He was triggered in some way.
As someone who had a lot of shower sex last week, Ashley, what would you have done if he said, this is like first couple encounters with a person, would you have let him shave your butthole?
I mean, I don't have it. I'm never going to have like a hairy butthole. Like I keep it clean, but like, I just think if he was like, this would really turn me on. Can I shave your butthole? I'd be like, yeah, that's hilarious. And this is great content for my stand-up. But I also would be like, I'd be like, have you done this before? Are you adept with the razor? Because
you asked for a really resume before you.
Well, I just don't want him like chop. Like, I don't want him like slipping. Like, I think I'd be like, have you shaved a butthole before? Are you adept?
You asked for
you should ask him to shave his own first so you can see his technique and see if he is trustworthy with a razor around your precious butthole.
I'm so dead. Would you have gotten on your knees and shaved his butthole?
No. But also for that girl, I'm like, she's basically painting it as the weirdest picture. So I think it's weird because of how she's explaining it. So I'm like, yeah, that's weird. If he's going to pay for you to go get your butthole waxed on the first date, like... No.
We don't want.
Yeah,
no. I'm not here. I don't want to hear anything about my body, how I'm dressed.
No,
nothing. Honestly, really ever from somebody that I'm dating, but certainly not in the beginning when I don't know you and I don't know if this is a joke or not.
Yeah, I'm like, are you kidding or are you serious? Because if you're serious, stop shaming me and my body hair. I didn't even know I was going to hook up with you.
Yeah, the can I make you an appointment? I hate, and I probably wouldn't let him get in there. Well, thank you
Kaitlyn,
so much for
so much.
sharing
Oh my gosh,
with us.
I love talking to you ladies. It's so fun.
Well, I already miss you. I don't want to get off the phone, but come to New York and then tell people everywhere they can find you, your podcast, where they can come see the Dancing with the Stars tour.
Oh my gosh. Yes, I only have 9 shows left on the Dancing with the Stars tour. I can't believe I've been doing this since January 3rd. It's been an absolute dream. I love dancing. It like makes me so happy. So dwtstour.com is where you can see if we're coming. We're heading out to California soon. And then also my wine is Spade and Sparrows. So you can follow it on Instagram at Spade and Sparrows. We do like really funny, inappropriate wine humor.
I love it. That's great.
And spadeandsparrows.com for wine. And then my podcast is Off the Vine, comes out Tuesdays and Thursdays. I also have an apparel and scrunchie brand called Do Edit at Do Edit. Everyone thinks it's Dude It, but that's fine too. Everything that I do, I end up loving the community that it's built over anything. It's so fun. And I'm just at Kaitlyn Bristowe and everything else.
Well, we are so happy to have you part of our community and be a part of yours. And we just love you so much. So thank you so much for being on the show.
Love you both. Thank you so much for having me.
And you guys know where to find us, girlsgottaeatpodcast.com for everything. New merch is live and get those Toronto tickets via our website. Follow us at Girls Gotta Eat Podcast on Instagram. I am Ash Hess. Raina is Raina.Greenberg. Girls_Gotta Eat on Twitter. And we will see you next week.
That's it, guys. Have a good week.
Bye.